Roger, go to throttle up.
CTSCOTC. Yeah, do you have any problem going to high power early so we can close out your constraints?
Hey, it's Julian here with Last Week from the Near Future, episode 007, week 49 of the year 2023. Up first, 1. PDPal. Check out what I found. This is PDPal, and it just happens to be a 20-year anniversary of this project this month. How crazy is that? So PDPal is a project I did with Marina Zirko and Scott Patterson 20 years ago, and it got all kinds of interest and attention back when we did it, including being included in the Walker Art Center's Sculpture Garden, which is kind of a big deal. And it was up on the Times Square Jumbotron, or Panavision, or whatever they like to call it, quite some time as part of Creative Times grant we got. And that was cool because I worked at MTV at that time, which was right at 1515 Broadway, which is basically Times Square. So people would see it and be like, "You did that? Why are you working here?" And I'd just shrug. Anyway, we called PDPal an emotional GPS because we were being artists and there was no name for this kind of thing at all. This was all before GPS became a thing, and it came with everything that you got, and it definitely wasn't in your Nokia 3310 phone. I'm not sure any phone had GPS back in 2003, and they certainly didn't have maps, and if your phone had camera in it, you had just spent $1,000 on the phone. And those were $2,003. We did this at a beautiful time for exploration with technology and networks and interconnectivity and location. No one knew what was up, but there was these immense opportunities to try ideas out that at the time didn't really make sense at all. This particularly didn't make sense because anyone who had a Palm Pilot PDA was not into this kind of imaginative art project. They just wanted a pocket organizer. It was called a personal digital assistant. That's what a PDA was. In the Toot Your Own Horn section, I mentioned that this was my first real mobile app, and Metroworks was no easy peasy IDE, but I got it done. Fast forward to 2015, and I had to write another app, this one for a pretty serious company, my own, called OMATA. I got bids to do the work that were like $250K, and I was like, thanks, no thanks, I can do it myself. And this wasn't just a basic screen-based app. It had to connect over BLE, share state with the OMATA 1, which I was also building, so it hadn't been built. There was no spec for that. Move data around, share to third-party services, update firmware, calibrate the hands of the OMATA 1. It was nuts. Never did anything like that, not even close. But now I done did it. I just like this symmetry. My first and most recent mobile apps, separated by 20 years of technology development, both doing something quite novel and curious. Okay, enough that horn tooting. So what's the lesson here? The lesson is that imagination and imaginative art projects are not to be sneezed at, nor dismissed as just idle speculation. It is an active exploration and prototyping without too much of the formal structure around what we normally think of as prototyping, as in prototype this thing because we need to deliver it by 2024. If we had more artistic creativity and unstructured play, prototyping possibilities, we'd ignite a new kind of creative renaissance, the next wave of innovation and ideas. That's what I'm trying to do here. Number 2, Archigram and Super Seminar 005, the future of speculative architecture. Archigram is a renowned collective of architects known for their futuristic and imaginative designs during the 1960s and early 1970s. They were a group of avant-garde architects who became influential in the world for their imaginative, fantastical, speculative approach to architecture, habitats, radical imaginaries of possible near-future worlds. Now, I bring this up because it's cool, but also because we've got Super Seminar 005 coming up, and the emphasis is on speculative architecture, which lives on in the era of generative AI 60 years after Archigram. Well, that's beautiful. So please join me and Hassan Ragab and Carl Daubman this Wednesday. Check it out at superseminar.school. Number 3, Patreon. Speaking of things to check out, the new Patreon is up where you can now get access to the Near Future Laboratory Discord, the rich hive of conversations and actual projects that you can get involved with. You also get access to our weekly office hours, which just had its 190th session. It's 190 Fridays in a row. That's kind of crazy. Check all this out at patreon.com/nearfuturelaboratory and become a supporter. Number 4, Chris's Employee Handbook. Speaking of the Discord, I want to highlight one project in there that you could get involved in. Something that Chris Butler is show running. It's the Employee Manual from the Future Project. You see, Chris is curious to use design fiction as an approach to researching the future of the organization. Big topic there. The design fiction archetype is the typical kind of employee handbook or manual that you get when you join the firm. Good one. Want to participate? Join the Discord. Become a patron over at patreon.com/nearfuturelaboratory. A book haul. Julian Montague's The Stray Shopping Carts of Eastern North America. Check this one out by Julian. There's a beautiful reprint of Julian's book, The Stray Shopping Carts of Eastern North America, a guide to field identification. Now, it won't be hard for you to get why I enjoy this kind of book. It takes the idiom of the field guide, which is usually associated with identifying natural critters and phenomena like birds, insects, trees, clouds, starry constellations, etc., and it treats the shopping cart as if it was a new kind of natural phenomena, a kind of cohabitant within our world of stuff. It's clever and evocative, and you should get it. In some ways, as Julian and I have said before on the podcast, his work and the Near Future Laboratory's sensibilities are like close cousins. You can check out Julian's prodigious Instagram at Montague Projects or over at montagueprojects.com and pick up the book at montagueprojectsshop.com. Also, Julian, parenthetically, did the 2 covers for the paperback editions of the Manual of Design Fiction, which you can get over at shop.nearfuturelaboratory.com. Number 7, Travel and Leisure magazine, but from the AI future. So I've put together a draft proposal for the magazine from the AI Future Project. You probably heard me talk about it in the last weeks from the near future. How to make the AI future mundane. This is the work to be done to translate all the excess energy around AI into what we hope, want, fear, and desire it to become. A more articulate representation than all the wondering and hypothesizing and super vague ideas, or no idea at all except work will be different. So if you want to get involved in this project, if you want to participate in a project to create a magazine from the future, in a future in which AI is as normal, ordinary, and everyday as television remote controls and wheels on luggage, hit me up. Join us in the Discord. That's it for Last Week from the Near Future, episode 007, week 49 of the year 2023. I'm Julian, and I'm out.
We have the data, and you're go for the align.
Roger. Go ahead, Dan. We're listening.